Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is my bridal makeup. If you are looking for something bridal, some special occasion makeup, look no further. I'm doing my own wedding makeup for my wedding, which at this point when you're seeing this has already happened. So I'm showing you all of the products, kind of my techniques, my tips, my tricks to longevity without looking like cakey and flat. So if that sounds good to you, keep on watching. Before we get too far into the video, if you have not already, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. I upload videos twice a week. It is totally free to subscribe, and I would love to have you back again on the channel for more makeup content and to talk in the contents about all of the good makeup. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much. Don't forget to click that like button if you like this content. It really does help out my channel in the algorithm. All right, so we're gonna go ahead to a bare face, and I'm gonna show you how exactly to get this long-lasting, beautiful, neutral makeup. All right, so we are zoomed in a bit. The hair is pulled back, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna start with the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. This is the one that has 4% niacinamide. So listen. It's supposed to be like 90 degrees on my wedding day, and it's supposed to be an outdoor ceremony. The reason I say supposed to be is not only because obviously weather changes, but also according to the forecast right now, it's gonna be thunderstorming. So happy thoughts that it's actually going to be outdoors the way it's planned, because this was not a cheap venue, and I really only picked it because it's like a garden, like a beautiful garden and brick courtyard, and that's really where I wanted to have the ceremony and stuff. So there is like an indoor building as a backup, but I really don't want to have to use it because it's just kind of, to be honest, like a plain Jane building. Like that, I could have had that anywhere for any cheaper price, to be honest. So wish me luck. I'll leave like a note or something about how it ended up turning out, because the wedding will be over by the time you're seeing this. But this is what I'm going in with, not only for longevity and something for the foundation to stick to, but also because it will either be best case scenario sweaty, worst case scenario very rainy, and I don't want my makeup to be ruined. So we're gonna give it a little extra tack just to try to help it stick its best. So of the foundations that I've tried a whole bunch trying to find the perfect one. The one I've really liked how it looks is the Glowish by Huda Beauty, the Multi-Dew Skin Tint. Mine is in shade 1 Fair. I believe they're discontinuing the Glowish line, so I'm super happy I got this when I did. I first tried it as a Sephora sample, and I loved how it looked. It's not like totally full coverage, but to me, being 32, almost 33, if I do something that's too full coverage, it just settles into every nook and cranny, you guys. And I can't be looking like the Crypt Keeper on my wedding day. I simply can't. And I want it to look like a little natural. Like, I say I want it to look natural, but you know what I mean. Like, I want there to be a bit of a luminosity or a glow on the skin, at least. Like, obviously, I'm wearing makeup, like, fall season, everything. There's not going to be a question of like, oh, is it makeup or is it natural? Like, yes, it's definitely going to be makeup, but I don't want it to look cakey, I guess is what I'm saying. So this foundation is a nice medium coverage that I find covers my redness. I've really tried to keep up on my skincare so that I'm not having any like breakouts or craziness right before the wedding. And so far, so good. I just did some dermaplaning today because I found that also just really helps the makeup adhere the best for me. And I'm not totally blending it with my fingers because I am going to go in with a brush, but I'm giving it just like a nice once over to start with. That was 1 full pump of foundation, and then I'm using my Lunar Beauty LBF 2 brush. I'm not even really swiping. I'm just more so trying to like pat the product into the skin, or like into that tacky primer that we put down. And I am debating if I should do like setting spray between each layer. I think I might, to try to make it last a bit longer versus just as a final step. So once I feel like it's pretty set in place, I think I'm going to do concealer first and then maybe a later layer of setting spray before I go on to any other cream products. Okay, it took me entirely too long to find, but I'm going to go in with the Tarte Shape Tape Radiant for my concealer. I feel like this is just enough to like waken up the under eye a little bit and do any coverage I might need outside of the Huda Glowish. Mine's in shade 16N. And then as I'm using all of these, I'm also going ahead and packing. So I have my Alley Blinds bag here that holds brushes that I love to travel with. And then I'm packing the biggie Alley Blinds bag, the huge one of all of my products. Just taking everything I possibly could need under the sun. I would much rather have too much than get there and be half an hour away from my house is where the venue is, and like up a creek without a paddle, so to speak. So I'm gonna let that set for a minute because I do like to do that with this concealer. And I'm taking my Laura Lee Los Angeles L29 brush and my NYX Tame and Frame tinted brow pomade in shade Brunette, just to fill in the brows a bit. I'm not gonna be like crazy concealer carved out brows. I just don't think it looks natural enough in my personal opinion. That's just, you know, for me personally. But I like to fill in my brows a little bit with this and shape them. And then I'll use a gel later to kind of finish filling them in and perfecting them. Okay, so now the concealer has sat here for a minute, I'm going to use a Refer 36 brush and just use that to blend in and kind of pat out the concealer that I've been placing. And I think at that point, I'm going to do a layer of setting spray before I go on with the other creams, because I am just really trying to lock this in, you guys. I'm even going to take a little excess on the nose here. How many of you, I'm curious, no judgment one way or the other, because it's totally fine either way, but how many of you that are watching are married? How many of you have gone through the wedding process? I'm curious to know. And I'm curious, did you do like an actual like full out event, or did you do more of like, we did low key, like went to the courthouse type thing, which is totally fine too, but I'm just curious to know, because ours is more of like an all out event. Because I am, again, almost 33, I kind of decided like I wasn't just going to get the most affordable thing, because I've been very, I feel like, I don't want to say frugal, but like I've made good decisions. Whenever I've had money, it's been like, okay, let me pay it towards a house or a car or student loan or something like practical. So I kind of decided I'm going to go out and do what I want with this and like be a little silly with my money, because I never do that. So I'm curious to hear like what kind of vibe was your wedding? Was it like low key? Did you do the full big kit and caboodle? Like, let me know. So the setting spray I'm using, of course, if you've been on my channel before watching, is the Benefit Professional Super Setter, my favorite setting spray of all time. This one's actually almost gone, but I came prepared. Got a backup on the last Ulta sale, so even if I run out doing my trials, I'll be set to go in a couple days. Look how glowy. Luminous the house down boots. Of course, we're going to set all of this. It's not going to be this crazy, but I am going to do a cream blush and bronzer followed by a powder blush and bronzer, because I just, again, I want it to last. And I want, even though it's going to fade because it'll be hours and hours and hours that day, I want there to be something left for all of the photos for my reception. So I'm going to place this a little higher because I feel like every time I blend it, I blend down and it ends up being lower than I want it to be. And I am going to do a little on the perimeter of the face as well as a bit on the nose as well. And we're going to do all of the carving, all of the primping, all of the things today. This is wedding makeup, you guys. Bridal makeup / special occasion. If you just really want to look your absolute best you ever have in your life, whether that be for a wedding, for your graduation, you name it. You just want to make your ex super jealous. Like this is the video for you. By the way, if I didn't say, this is the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer in shade Tan Lines that I'm using. I've used some stuff that's more expensive than this to try out, but this is just the one with the undertone that I think looks the best. Well, and like I had a different one I was going to use. Was it the Ace Beauté? I think it was the Ace Beauté I was going to use instead, but I think it was my mom that actually, she said something when I had like had it blended on the neck a little bit for the jawline that she thought it was a bit too like orange or warm or something, like it was noticeable. So this one I think has a bit more neutral undertones, and I do like to do a little here just because unfortunately I am the heaviest I've been in my entire life, so I do want to do a little bit of chiseling, but of course I don't want there to be a line of demarcation or anything like obvious, so it is what it is. We just gotta, you know, do some tricks of the trade to look a bit snatched. Okay, again for the cream, we're going drugstore, guys. This is the Believe Beauty shade in Dollface Cream Blush. I just rediscovered this in my recent video when I was going back and testing old favorites. I'll leave that linked if you haven't seen it. But I had no plans. I mean, I knew I wanted to do a cream blush underneath and put something powder on top, but I had no plans for it to be this one until that video. And I've loved it so much, I haven't put it away. I just use it all the time now. It's so nice, and it takes like hardly any, my hair is sticking in, it takes like hardly any for you to have really nice pigmentation. But again, this is just like the cream so that when the powder starts to fade, there is like another layer underneath. This is not something I would do on the daily to double up by any means with the cream and the powders. I see beauty gurus do it all the time. I feel like it's not realistic. I would do one or the other normally, but it's just for this special occasion, knowing the weather parameters I'm working in, that I'm going to do it the way I am. Okay, now it's time to set all of this business, and I want to set it so that I'm not like greasy looking the way I am now. However, I don't want to lose the luminosity. Like, I like the natural skin glow, but it's got to be set. It's just got to. So what I am pounding on right now, this is the Jaclyn Cosmetics Luminous Powder in shade Do Me. And yeah, we're going to put this like all over the face. And I'm using a Laura Lee Los Angeles L33 brush for this. I'm not going to try to take too much. Oh my, I feel like I got a bunch though. And I'm just going to start here. Go kind of under the eyes to start with. And then the chin and the T-zone are like my most oily places, so that's where I'm concentrating like the most powder, and then I'm taking it out like with the excess of what's left. All right, I'm done with the powder. I maybe even went overboard, I'm not sure. But we've got the luminous powder down so you can see, you know, it still looks skin-like, but it's not as wet looking as it was before, which is what I want. One of my friends got married recently, and I suggested this setting spray to her, and she said she did layers between like everything of this, and her makeup lasted all night. So I'm going to do another layer. I feel like things are looking pretty good. I naturally have texture and have one really bad crease here. I had it looked at and was told basically I would have to get filler, and I didn't want to do that. So I've got a crease here. I'm going to try to pat it out, and I'll probably just have to like touch up and pat it out throughout and ask my photographer to do like retouching, because it is what it is. Like I said, I'm almost 33, and I have a lot of texture. I used tretinoin to try to help with that, and I feel like it's definitely improved. At least I don't have acne, because before the tretinoin and switching to my recent provider, I just had terrible cystic acne everywhere and scarring constantly. So at least I don't have that. I need to count my blessings there. Okay, let's go with the powder bronzer next. I'm going to use my Adept Gianna face palette, and I am using this kind of neutral bronzer shade with my Rephr number 4 brush. And we are just going to use that to basically reiterate the bronzer, like the cream bronzer that we already have, the e.l.f. one. Kind of set it in place, but also I feel like the powder, adding that does kind of take away some of the pigment. So this is just going to help give it like another layer. And I'm going to get, I think, a little more sculpty with some different powder here. momentarily. But for now, I'm not like too worried about being super precise with this. Okay, and then for blush, the NARS Orgasm Blush. Yes. I've had this a long time. She's expensive, so I feel like this is an opportunity, a good event to bring her out for. Here it is. This is like the first high-end blush I ever bought. I saved up because I was like, that's so much for a blush, and it still is. I'm using the same brush that I used for my bronzer, but I feel like this is just a really perfect bridal color, to be honest. It's this really nice pinky, golden-y color. It's gonna go over the doll face nicely. Yeah, it's just like subtle, you know? I don't want to be too clown blushy. Like, I love color. If you've been on my channel, I love that kind of like cloudy blush look, but it's just not the vibe for my wedding day. Like, I do want kind of a more natural classic look. Like, I got my nails done and here's the vibe we're going for. Neutral, right? You probably can't see. I do have, though, some iridescent rainbow sparkles on the tips that I really, really like. Had to sneak that in a little somewhere, you know. And I am going to go still even a little blush heavy just because I know it's going to fade by the time we're done. But I think that's just so pretty, and like the dimension between the light and the deeper. I really like it, you guys. I hope you guys are taking note too, like as I'm using products. Like, we've got some drugstore, we've got some more like prestige brands. I haven't really gone a lot of indie. That's again more of my creative outlet, but the mainstream stuff is, I'm not gonna lie, good when it comes to just like the standard neutral makeup that you might want to have. I'm going to go in with my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion now to prime the eyelids. And I think while I let that sit for a minute, I'm going to take my Coty Airspun powder and just a little sponge here and carve out a bit on the nose just to make her ultra snatched. Same with the cheekbones here. I always kind of use my ear as like a guideline to go like from here down to figure out where to draw this little powder line. That's just gonna clean up the jaw, like the cheekbone a little bit there. I'm also gonna use the Benefit Gimme Brow Plus in shade 3 to finish the brows here. I am gonna go for more of that like fluffy look in the front for these. And then tame them a little bit more in the tail end. Now it's time for eyeshadow. We're going in with the Lunar Beauty Nude Prism here. And I'm going for the more blushy tone. So I'm going to start with Cherry Blossom, this pinky one. And I'm going to start with my Ace Beauté P1 palette from their Palladio collection. And I'm just going to put that Cherry Blossom shade all in the crease. The eyeshadow I'm honestly going to keep, I think, kind of minimal. Because I am going to do, I'm not going to say bold lip, but I think it's going to be more of the attention. I'm going to use my Morphe M456 to go in with Classic, this shade right here in the outer corner to give us like not a smoky look per se, but because we've just done like a pinky shade, it is going to give us a little more dimension, being that it's a brown instead of a pink, and a little bit of depth, even though it's more of a mid-tone color. A little something like that. Okay, now in my most used palettes for 2024, I said I was either going to use the Glaminatrix Nearly Natural or the Sugar and Spice for the shimmer. So I'm going to swatch, I think, the shimmers that I'm considering side by side, just to do a little comparison and make a final decision about what shimmer I'm going to use for my wedding. So these two are the two from the Nearly Natural. We've got one that's a little more champagne and one's a little more pinky. And then we've got Nutmeg from the Sugar and Spice, which is even more like champagne-y. It's the one on the bottom. I love the shimmers from Glaminatrix. They're all spectacular. Like, any of these would be good. I I kind of think I want to try the sugar and spice one though. So I'm going to take my flat brush. I'm not going to plaster it on. I just want to do like a little sprinkling, honestly, like just tapping it onto the eyelid here to give it a little sprinkle of shimmer. Yeah, something like that. I think that looks really nice. And I like the shimmer formula from Glaminatrix more than I do the shimmer formula from Lunar Beauty. If you missed that other video, that's why I discussed mixing them instead of just purely using the Nude Prism palette from Lunar Beauty. I think I'm going to pack both of those palettes because I think this is the winning combo. Again, it's just like a little something. It's not crazy on the lids, but I'm going to put on lashes, so I don't feel like I want it to be too crazy on the lids. And then I bought new lash glue because I'm totally out, but I cannot find it. So this is where it's going to vary just a little for my wedding makeup because I'm either going to find it tonight or buy another one tomorrow. My plan is to do shadow liner from that Nude Prism palette. And since I can't find it, I'm just going to go in with my Kiss Lash Glue Liner, which is black and not what I'm planning. Oh, I want to do mascara first. Not what I'm planning to do for my wedding, but I got to find that lash glue first or buy another one, and I haven't been able to find it. So let me curl my lashes and do mascara first, actually, before I do the liner. Tarte Big Ego mascara. Honestly, those lashes look so good. They barely need a falsie, if I'm being honest. Maybe that's just me feeling myself in this makeup, but Tarte Big Ego, you guys. I haven't used it in a minute, but I remembered liking it, and now I'm remembering just why. Okay, I think it's time I'm going to use this big fluffy brush from Midas Cosmetics to wipe away all of the powder that I used just to clean up the cheekbones and the nose and everything. Is the nose snatched enough? I don't know. Maybe I need a little more bronzer here just to snatch it even more. I feel like it maybe isn't quite as snatched as I was like. I mean, it's not terrible, right? But I feel like it could be a little better. What do we think so far? We're not quite done, but we're getting there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put on the Kiss Lash Liner. And since this is a half lash, I'm not going to go crazy. And again, I do feel like the shadow liner will be better because I don't want this like harsh black liquid liner look. I just cannot find what I did with that dang duo lash that I bought. Yeah, I just feel like this Kiss liner also like does not stick. Like the adhesion is not there. Okay, so the lashes will be slightly better. I feel like they're kind of wonky right now, to be honest. But, yeah, I'm just not working with my favorite product when it comes to those right now. They'll be better. I'm going to go ahead and go in with the Melt Lip Liner in shade Foxy. And then I'm going to go in with the Kylie Cosmetics Matte Lipstick in shade Rendezvous 508. Not a lot of this because I don't want it to be like too bold. I feel like that's pretty though, no? Is it too red? I feel like this is it. I need another layer setting spray, believe it or not. So I'm not happy with the lashes. Like they need to get their lives together, but I know how to fix that from this trial. And let me zoom out so you can get like the full effect, right? So my hair is actually going to be curled and it's going to have like some face framing pieces that are out curled, and the rest of it's going to be in like a low bun in the back with the veil on here. So I feel like, right, this could look good with like, these won't be as long because they'll be curled, but like some face framing pieces, right? Like, are you getting the vibe a little? Like, I'm wearing a white shirt. I know it's not a white dress. If I have a picture of the final look and how it ended up looking, I'll leave a little insert here. But yeah, this is like the vibe and what I'm going for, what it's gonna look like. Let me know. What do you think in the comments? Did you do your own makeup for your wedding? Did you have someone else do it? I would love to know, but I feel like this is gonna be the vibe for me. This is it. I'm I'm happy with how this looks. Like looking up close, I'm happy with how my skin looks. I think it's good. We'll see what Wes says when he gets home from work. Like I said, I won't have as harsh of liner and the lashes will stick a little bit better, but beyond that, here it is, the final special occasion bridal look. Thanks so much if you made it all the way to the end. I appreciate it so much, and I hope to see you again on the next one. Bye.